back here with Dr. Mon on the subject of mouth breathing. Mouth breathing is going to elevate cortisol. Cortisol is going to increase inflammation. Inflammation is going to create disease and kill your dreams. So we are here to reel that all back. And so you're going to get better sleep, better cellular respiration. Your mitochondria is going to function better. You're going to have less aging, less premature aging. And so Dr. Mon, welcome back to the show. I'm getting great results with this. By the way, this is my HomeoBlock appliance. I've had it for about 2.5 months now. And so how can people get this at home? This feels amazing, by the way. And I feel the bottom of my nose, the maxilla, spreading open. My teeth are widening. My mouth feels great. My jaw feels less tight. So can you tell people where they can get this and what's the process?
Well, the first part of the process is really trying to figure out what's going on. So we do some diagnostics, whether it's 3D imaging, we do a home sleep test, we even do something called a pharyngometer that measures the collapsibility of the airway. And then we kind of use all of that data to kind of figure out exactly what's going on with your mouth and where the deficiencies are, because everybody has it in a different place. Some people have nasal congestion, some people have a restricted windpipe. So that's what we're trying to figure out is where's the problem.
Awesome. How long is the process and the procedure?
Well, the nice thing about this appliance is that it's really a signaling appliance. So what it does is it just replaces the missing hard food in the diet. And so as you're putting strain into the system and get that growth, there's a little expansion screw in the appliance that you turn about once a month or so. And you're doing that to keep up with the changes the body's creating. So once you turn that key and the appliance feels tight, that basically just means that's where the body was meant to be. So that kind of tells us what the end point of the appliance is.
Well, I can only say that it feels amazing having these tools in my mouth. I really feel my mouth, my whole skull is more relaxed. And I'm very interested in doing the sleep test to find out exactly how much more deeper I'm sleeping.
So, the cool thing about the appliance is that over time it does grow the jaw like you're explaining, but really the short-term benefits is that it tones the muscles of the airway because it's really all about tongue position. You've got to be able to breathe through your nose because as long as you're breathing through your mouth, you essentially can't have your tongue in the right place and you're not producing nitric oxide, you're not getting proper oxygenation. You're actually over-breathing when you're breathing through your mouth and you deplete yourself of carbon dioxide, which is kind of the key to transfer the oxygen from your blood actually into the cells.
This is making the body much more efficient by optimizing the breath work.
Exactly. If you remember the old days when people had panic attacks because they didn't feel like they were getting enough oxygen, we didn't put an oxygen mask on them. We had them breathe into a paper bag because we wanted to increase their CO2. So most people are deficient in oxygen. They're actually breathing improperly, so they're deficient in carbon dioxide, CO2. It's kind of a whole new concept for people. It's kind of seems very counterintuitive.
Yeah, well, since I've started paying attention to this, I also recognize other mouth breathers or neck breathers. I can hear someone, even in their videos, if they're making stressed videos, where they're breathing too much or they're breathing out of their mouth, they sound very stressed, even in the tone of their voice. Can you speak a little bit more on the importance of nasal breathing and keeping your tongue on the roof of the mouth?
Yeah, because when you're breathing through your mouth, that's actually sympathetic breathing. So you're in almost like that shallow fight or flight breathing. They start to sound very stressed. So that nasal breathing is what kind of gives you that proper balance. So it is very critical just to keep that tongue in a proper position, not just for proper breathing, but the tongue acts almost like an orthodontic appliance. So it's responsible for literally shaping the roof of your mouth and your palate. And you actually see that with mouth breathers. And like you described, you can hear them, you can see them, as I walk by people, I see their facial profile. When I look in their mouths, they have a more vaulted palate, which means that they have less nasal volume. So that kind of tells me that they're not getting the proper oxygenation that they should be and that their body's basically in a fight or flight state all the time. Not a good place to be unless you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger.
You ever see someone that looks like this?
Exactly. You see it all the time.
Forward head posture.
And it's funny, I was watching that show Stranger Things with my daughter. These two kids are walking along and the one guy got picked on by this bully who's not the brightest guy. And he kind of jokingly refers to him as a mouth breather. And she goes, mouth breather? What are you talking about? She goes, a dumb person.
A knuckle dragger.
It does, because for kids, if they're mouth breathers, they're not sleeping properly. They can't learn properly. And it does affect their learning ability and intelligence just because their body's not getting, their brain's not getting the things that it needs.
Awesome. I look forward to sharing my journey with you guys. I am feeling better, especially at the bottom of my nose, my maxilla. I've been paying attention to my breath for the past 5.5 1.5 years since I started doing breath work and I started really paying attention to how I was breathing. And still to this day, it's a meditation. Tongue on the roof of the mouth, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. I like to train, lift weights. I like to hike like that. Let it be a meditation for you guys, and come and see Dr. Mon.